What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode, the last Tuesday night show of the fantasy football season. It's the Waiver Wire show. We're going to hang out here. I'm going to review just loosely my Waiver Wire report. We'll get into a few things, and I appreciate y'all hanging out with me on the eve of Christmas Eve. I don't know if I'm going to do a video tomorrow yet. We shall see. I will be traveling tomorrow, so probably not doing a video. I don't think I'm going to do a Christmas Day video either, but we'll consider doing something. But I'm just going to read over my quick things here for if you need a quarterback. If you need a quarterback this week, Trevor Lawrence should have been picked up already. He is the hottest thing in the league right now. Trevor Lawrence at Indianapolis. If you need another quarterback, maybe Jacoby Brissett was dropped at Cincinnati. I like him. And then Tyler Shuck, man, at Tennessee. He's been playing pretty well the last month or so. And then deeper leagues, if you need a QB, maybe Sam Darnold at Carolina, a little revenge game for him. And then we'll see about Marcus Mariota. I don't think he's going to play against Dallas, but I do like him if he does play there. And then maybe Phillip Rivers, versus Jacksonville if you need a QB desperately. If you need a running back this week, I think Michael Carter would be one that makes a lot of sense here. He's going to be the lead back for the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if Josh Jacobs is going to play, so I do think Emmanuel Wilson should be rostered for the next few days, just in case we do get to scratch Josh Jacobs on Saturday against the Ravens. I think Tajay Spears is interesting play. I think Dylan Sampson, Travion Williams, or Raheem Sanders. We don't have any update on this Browns running back situation, so I would probably add one or two of them if you want to try and cover the Browns running back this week. Other notables here, Chris Rodriguez, Jalen Wright, Audric Estime, Blake Corum, and Jawar Jordan. We'll see if Woody Marks plays. I thought Jawar Jordan looks pretty good. He is the lead back right now for the Texans if no Woody Marks. If you need a receiver this week, Adam Thielen. With the DK Metcalf suspension, Adam Thielen is probably going to be the guy that leads this team in receptions and targets, besides Kenneth Gainwell, of course. But Adam Thielen looking like a decent PPR floor of 8 to 12 points. If he gets a touchdown, he gets a touchdown. But I do like Thielen. I also like Troy Franklin with the likelihood that Pat Bryant's not going to be playing this weekend. And then you do have Mac Hollins available, if no Kayshon Boutte, just because they're playing the Jets. And I like Mac Hollins this season. Deeper leagues, Adonai Mitchell, Trey Tucker, Jameer DK, Parker Washington, those kind of names. Tight end, if you need a tight end this week, it's Taysom Hill week, baby. I would start Taysom Hill. I haven't got my rankings out yet. I'm going to get my rankings out tomorrow morning. So if you guys are checking out my rankings, I'll have them up. I might make them free for this final weekend of the season. So check out thefantasyfellowship.com as I record this. It's Tuesday night. I'm going to get them uploaded tomorrow morning before I have to travel to Green Bay. Other tight ends, again, Taysom Hill would be the one, but Dalton Schultz, Juwan Johnson, Colston Loveland, and Brenton Strange. Deeper leagues, AJ Barner, perhaps. Not a great streaming defense week. I think the Saints are one that we've identified. I think the Steelers at Cleveland makes sense. Maybe the Jags at Indy makes sense. The Rams at Atlanta. Patriots obviously against the Jets, and the Broncos against the Chiefs. I like those quite a bit. And then deeper one, the Raiders and the Giants play each other for the 101 this season, and I'm not sure I see a lot of points in there. So that's who I'm thinking from the waiver wire perspective, and let's get into some comments and hang out for the evening. Good evening to Chase. I saw your X message come through. I just didn't have time to read it before the show. Thoughts on picking up Besh and Mumfield this week, starting any of them over Egbuka? I don't really want to start Emeka Egbuka right now. He was actually behind Jalen McMillan for routes and snaps, I think, the other day for the Bucs. So not high on him, but I don't have a lot of thoughts on Jack Besh or Mumfield either. Mumfield, he's going to need Devontae Adams to miss for him to be relevant. I still don't have a lot of faith and trust in either of these two guys. There's probably other names that I'd be looking at here. I'd have to know who's available for you, but not a lot of trust in these guys. Let me look at Jack Besh, who I thought he had a couple big plays. 2 for 43 last week, 2 for 17 the week before, 6 for 50. I don't really want to whip Jack Besh out there against the Giants. Let me take a peek here at Mumfield, who they've been touting up pretty big here. He went 3 for 40 last week on 8 targets. I don't have a good feeling on this either one of those two. So I would probably stick with Egbuka over those two options. And hey, good evening to Double Tap. Hope you're doing well. Oh, we like Adam Thielen a lot more. I have a feeling that Adam Thielen will be, I don't know, like wide receiver 30 to 36 in my rankings tomorrow. I was forced to drop DK due to suspension. I'm completely fine with that. I would probably have Thielen over Emeka Egbuka tomorrow in my rankings. So I'm all aboard Adam Thielen, who he's only been with the team for a couple weeks, but he keeps getting opportunities to be the guy. And last week we finally saw 4 catches for 49 yards, 4 targets, and they're going to need him this week especially. So I expect him to lead the team in snaps and routes and kind of be the lead receiver as well as be the lead target of those receivers. So yeah, we'll pour one out for DK Metcalf. Stinking DK Metcalf. Good evening to Frosty. We need a running back in 2 flex. Out of Ramondre, Woody, Emmanuel Wilson, if Jacobs is out. Pitts. I also have London if that changes your stance on Pitts. I think right now, like Pitts is just like he's kind of just locked in. And the one running back here, I'm assuming no Travion Henderson this week. They're playing the Jets. They don't need to rush him back. I'm thinking Ramondre might be a top 12 running back rank for me. Just with this game the other night, like they basically just gave him everything. And if you guys do have access to the fantasyfellowship.com, that's where I uploaded the post-game notes from the other night, Monday night and Sunday night game. I just want to take a peek and just review that real quick because Hendo got hurt early. Travion Henderson got hurt early. He only played 14 snaps and ran 5 routes. Ramondre Stevenson, out of 74 snaps, he got 62 snaps. And that was with Travion playing 14. They gave 12 to the fullback, and Dearness Johnson was the third back. He only played 1 snap and ran 1 route the rest of the way. Everything went through Ramondre Stevenson. So if it is likely that Travion's going to be out, like I'm ranking Ramondre very, very high. I still don't know about Woody. I think if Josh Jacobs is out, you're going to play Emmanuel Wilson, probably ahead of Woody. I think you're going to leave Pitts in there as the flex. London, Pitts, you're hoping for 30 points between the two. We'll see about some touchdowns. They should be trailing, so I'm hoping that you get a lot of opportunity to throw the ball there. So I'm going to rank the running backs as Ramondre, Packers running back, and then Woody Marks. I don't know if Woody Marks plays this week. And even if he does, I don't have a lot of faith in Woody Marks, man. He's been getting dinged up. And they often share the workload. And now that you got Jawar Jordan playing well lately, I'm a little gun shy on Woody Marks. That's kind of how I'm thinking it. And hey, we're in the championship, man. Congratulations. We've made it to the final weekend. I love it. Would you start Woody Marks this week? You're starting Henry and Jacobs. I have Emmanuel Wilson if Jacobs out. So that's the correct process. My flex would either be Mark, Estimate, Kelsey, or Thielen. I'm going Thielen here. And again, my hesitations with Woody Marks are he's been wildly inconsistent pretty much all year. There's games where he looks like the dude, and there's games where they just kind of lose it and they forget about him and Nick Chubb gets involved or Ogunbowale gets involved. But last week we did see Jawar Jordan and a healthy Nick Chubb lead this team in carries, 15 for Jordan, 6 for Nick Chubb. Jawar Jordan also caught all 5 of his receptions. So I'm just a little worried here. This team's going to be in the playoffs. I feel strongly about that. But if the Texans, are thinking about just being patient with Woody Marks here, maybe they kind of continue this running back by committee. So to me, Marks is kind of the odd man out here. And I think I'm just going to see what happens. I don't trust this backfield. And this offense also really struggled against the Raiders last week. I don't know how excited we are about our Texans. And yeah, it's just he got us here, though. We'll salute to Henderson. He was a great soldier, and I'm assuming he's not playing this weekend. I don't think Brian Thomas Jr. is getting traded. I think there was a lot of moving parts early in the offseason, and then there was that one hit that BTJ took early in preseason against the Steelers, and that I don't think he was ever truly healthy from that shoulder thing, which he did re-aggravate, I think, that when they were in London, but also mentally, just getting off on the wrong foot. And honestly, Trevor Lawrence didn't play as well in the beginning of the year as he's playing now. So I think it's just a matter of time before he gets back into his fold. But to me, I think we might have I know I misjudged it. I had him as a top 5 receiver this year. So I'm pretty disappointed at the outcome, but very high on the Jags dynasty outlook. I'm probably going to be viewing Brian Thomas Jr. as a T. Higgins type player going forward, a guy that will probably be fine as like a wide receiver 2-3 in 2026. And he's gonna bounce back next year. This is I think a floor season for him that he battled through injuries and a new offense and just everything kind of going against him this year. But I expect him to get it going next year. Thielen, Jaden Reed, or Chimere DK. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with Adam Thielen here, but we do have to watch the Packers. I don't think they put a practice report out today. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should look that up because I do want to watch for Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs did get hurt at the end of that Bears game last week, and I'm seeing here on Tuesday the Packers, they have Romeo Doubs full practice today. Okay, so we're going to have a full practice for Romeo. Christian Watson's back. Jaden Reed's back. So I still feel a little bit nervous starting Jaden Reed just because he is the third clear receiver, and we don't know who the quarterback's going to be yet. If it is Malik Willis, that does take some of the upside off of him. If Jordan Love's playing, I like that upside quite a bit. So I'm going to probably rank these guys as Thielen, Reed, DK off the top of the head for now. If you're not going to be using Chris Godwin, I'm fine with it. Jawar Jordan, again, if Woody Marks is out, Jawar Jordan moves up the rankings quite a bit. I still think the Chargers are a good defense. And I did update the fantasy points allowed charts earlier today, guys. And I did a new wrinkle here that I think I'm going to start doing next year, where I just show the last 5 weeks. Over the last 5 weeks, the LA Chargers, one of the best defenses in football and stopping the run. They're only allowing about 18 points per game to the running back position. But if that's split between Jawar Jordan and Nick Chubb, maybe Jawar gets 12 to 15 of those points. On the season, the Chargers defense would rank number 3 against the opponent running back. So it is a tough spot for Jawar Jordan. But again, I think if Woody's out, I probably like Jawar Jordan as a low-end RB2 over any of the guys we just listed. Over these guys? No, I'm still playing Ramondre, Pitts. And if Jacobs is out, I'm going to go Emmanuel Wilson because he's going to be a heavy full. If it's Malik Willis, Emmanuel Wilson, that's going to be a huge running day for the Packers. So I'll have Emmanuel Wilson ranked higher than Jawar Jordan if that's what it comes down to. But the fact that you have Woody, yeah, I want to add Jawar Jordan and come back to this and see how the week unfolds. Johnson, the Chiefs, Vikings, Philly, Kirk. Yeah, Kirk's your best option. And honestly, we got London back last week, and he didn't really do well, but Kyle Pitts looked really good, and Kirk Cousins got you a rushing touchdown. So they're still, to me, showing some fight in Atlanta, and just another week of health and practice for Drake London should be good for him. And they're going to have to play keep up against the Rams here. So I do expect Kirk Cousins to probably be like like QB 20 or so in my rankings, and I would probably have him in there. And good evening to, hi, how are you? No fantasy question. We were able to place the Steelers plus 6,600 last week to win the Super Bowl. Thoughts? So I was watching football on Sunday. I wasn't feeling the best on Sunday, just, cold and just feeling not the best. But I'm watching football thinking, like, the Steelers, they're starting to play some of the best football in the league the last couple of weeks. If they could just figure out how to stay consistent on offense, and they're slowly finding out that Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell are their best players, mixing in the tight ends, DK Metcalf, Adam Thielen arrives, and they're playing good defense again too. So I think it's a fun bet at plus 6,600, man. I'm curious how much you threw down on that, but at this point, I don't think there's a clear team to beat in the entire NFL. We just saw the Rams lose to the Seahawks in a weird game. We've seen the Patriots and the Broncos all have hiccups of late. We've seen the Bills kind of play hot and cold. The NFC feels just completely wide open with the NFC West teams and the NFC North teams and the Eagles. So I wouldn't be surprised, man. You put the Steelers on a neutral site in a Super Bowl, we know their fans are going to show up. So if they can win, a home game in a road game, and boom, like basically they're almost there. So I like it, man. That's a pretty fun bet. And I don't know if they have a chance to move up. I think they're pretty much locked into the 4 if they win the North. Let me just pull that up here. Yeah, they're about 2 games back from the 3 seed. So the 4 seed, they're going to host the Chargers or the Bills, it looks like, which, honestly, both those teams have had some tough games every now and then. So anything is possible, I think, in this year's playoffs. I'm pretty excited about it. So fun bet there. You like Dicker the Ticker this week versus the Texans? I do. I think The Chargers showed some life last week against the Cowboys. It was nice to see the offense get going again since Herbert hurt his hand. But the Texans are the number one team against kicker opponent points. They've only allowed 4.3 points per game to the fantasy kicker on the other side. So it's probably not going to be the best Dicker game. It just, man, I hate it this time of year because it's pretty much everything I say. It seems to do the exact opposite lately. So basically, they're giving the Chargers 10 points, a field goal and an extra point. Let me just take a look here and see what the expected line is here for the Chargers. They've got the Chargers scoring about 20.5 points. So that would be 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, which I'm if there's not a obvious kicker on the waiver wire, I'll probably run Dicker out there just because he's a good kicker. And it's a tough defense, which usually means I hold him in the red zone. So maybe it's a good kicking game. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, he's looked good for 2 weeks now. And the fact that he just completely played over Nick Chubb last week, I think says a lot. So they like him clearly. And I think at this point, if you have Woody Marks, add Jawar Jordan. You actually want Woody to not play so that Jawar Jordan has a clear backfield. Because if Woody plays, then we're mixing in Jawar and Nick Chubb and maybe Ogun. Like there might be 4 running backs involved. So honestly, I think if you have Woody, you're hoping that he takes a week off. Yeah, that was the frustrating part is we could have had a game with Josh Jacobs just completely getting a night off and rest and getting ready for, week 17 and 18. But he's a competitor and he wanted to play. And eventually, though, they finally stopped playing him, which I think was the right call. Taysom Hill, Loveland, or Waller at tight end, full PPR. I'm scared to say Taysom Hill, but that's kind of where it's going, man. They're playing Tennessee, which we like. Tennessee on the season, they're pretty average against tight end, but we know Taysom Hill's not a regular tight end. He's going to probably catch a few passes. He's going to lead the team in carries again, perhaps, and possibly get a touchdown this week. So I'm going to rank Taysom Hill as your guy for this week. I do think Loveland, his matchup is going to be dependent upon, Odunze and Luther Burden being healthy. So as of right now, I'm probably going to say Taysom Hill is the answer. I don't have a ton of confidence in Darren Waller with Quinn Ewers, but Tampa Bay's been really bad across the board lately. They're actually, if you look at their last 5 weeks, Tampa Bay's been the worst defense giving up fantasy points. And we just saw Kyle Pitts trash this team a few weeks back here. So I'm probably going to say Loveland, Waller, or Hill, Loveland. No, my bad. Hill, Waller, Loveland would be my ranking for now. And if you're nervous about Hill, I guess I would go Waller. Yeah. It was just, that was one of the worst endings of a game as a Packer fan to see what happened. I mean, here we are with 5 minutes to go. We're celebrating and thinking, we just basically just got the inside race for the NFC North. And then just have everything possible go wrong that could go wrong. It did go wrong. Freaking Murphy's Law got us there at the end. So frustrating. Preseason Pittsburgh Steelers, man. And I think what's clear is Rodgers is like having fun. I think that's been evident, especially just with them playing on primetime lately, especially just the way they played against the Lions. I think they're having fun over there. And man, I wish they would have gotten one more receiver free agency, whatever. If they could have just grabbed someone else here. But I do think Adam Thielen will fill in nicely here for the next couple games while DK's away. Oh man. Who gets the Bills this week? It's Dallas Goedert versus the Bills this week, so I'm probably going to be lower on Dallas Goedert again. This is just one of those things where we have a season-long database on fantasy points against a position, and sometimes it's due for regression. So I apologize, my man. We should have went with Harold Fannin. We should have went with your gut. That's my fault. I am pretty excited about Cleveland next year, though. If they can get a draft class with 2 or 3 more starters in it and really figure out, a full offseason schedule for Shedeur Sanders to get on page with this offense and really take it up. Like they've shown signs this year that they could actually be a fun offense. They don't have that alpha receiver. I know Jerry Judy's there, but they could use a nice receiver on day 1 or 2 this year in the draft, as well as just trenches and more weapons on both sides of the ball. Smith and Groupie, who had both great weeks last week. I don't even know which teams these guys play for. I really hate kickers, man. It was pretty epic. But man, I couldn't believe it. The Packers were moving the ball in overtime to go get potential field goal or touchdown, and literally just everything that could go. The universe definitely just had it out for the Packers that night, and just everything that could go wrong for the Packers eventually did. But yeah, DJ Moore, hell of a catch. Caleb Williams, hell of a throw. 20-point lead going in, but when Kittle went out, it was over. CMC was unstoppable and the champion. Yes, let's go. Sports dog, baby. I was nervous because I didn't watch last night's game. I was just doing stuff, but I saw Kittle had a hot start and Purdy was just dealing touchdowns. So I was nervous that Kittle would get maybe something there, but it was CMC who caught that second touchdown. So I was thinking about you during that second CMC touchdown. So congrats, Sports Dog. I'm happy for you, man. Merry Christmas, dude. Yes. Whew. I'm super concerned about that Charger or the Giants Raiders game. Like that game could be 10-6. It could be 29-42. Like there's not a lot of confidence in both sides of the offense in that one. I'm seeing the New York Giants are projected. Where are we here? Why can't I read my charts? Where are the Raiders? The Raiders are supposed to win this game. They got the Raiders by 1.5, and this might have flipped. I recorded this yesterday, but they got the Raiders putting up 21.5 and the Giants putting up 20. So I'm probably just going to stay away from that game. I think if you had to choose one, I'm going to stick with the Chargers. We just saw the Texans not look great against the Raiders here, and I do expect that game to be a lower total score. The Chargers are picked to win this one by 1.5. The Texans only scoring 19 points, though. So I'm probably going to go with the Chargers in this one, who are at home. I appreciate you, Chase. Saints and Colts kicker. I would probably go the Saints kicker because just they're playing Tennessee, and just Tennessee just gives up points, man. Overall in the season, Tennessee's given up about 8.3 points per game. That's almost double the point total that the Texans are allowing. So, and we saw, last few games, this Saints offense is having fun scoring points. So I'm going to probably swap it out. And this game is in Tennessee. I don't know if the weather's going to be an issue there. It's usually not a weather issue in Tennessee. Dicker's at least in a dome. I'm not afraid to play Dicker, though. I think the likelihood is, they get trapped in the red zone a couple times and he hits 2 field goals and maybe 2 extra points, just like they're projecting to get 20 points. Maybe one of them's a 50-yarder, who knows? But I'm still not afraid to play him, but I do like the groupie call here. So you got to trust your gut on that one. Yeah, I think without Micah, the Packers, up until pre-onside kick, Caleb Williams, he just threw that touchdown or whatever, and they were really struggling just offensively. They finally got some room to run, but I thought the Packers defense played really, really well for about, again, 55 minutes until that final onside kick got them. So I still think there's still a chance that the Bears have to go to San Francisco, and then we'll see about Detroit. Detroit does have to win this weekend. They need the Packers to lose too. So there's a chance that the NFC North is likely the Bears to lose, but I don't know. There's a chance the Packers could steal this one too. Like Pitts did on Tampa. Oh, yes. But yeah, so I'm going to be leaving to travel back to my parents tomorrow. So there's not going to be a show tomorrow night. It is Christmas Eve. I'm probably going to I probably don't have time to do a show in the morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably put the weekly rankings up tomorrow morning. I'll have those for free on the fantasyfellowship.com if you guys want to check them out sometime tomorrow or Thursday morning or whatever. We got the ugliest Christmas Day slate of games. And I honestly hope that you guys don't have too many players going in these games. Obviously, start your Broncos. But man, what a complete shit show of a Christmas Day game. Dallas at Washington, you're going to start your Dak, your Javonte, your Pickens, and your CeeDee Lamb. Washington, you can maybe start Terry McLaurin, maybe Debo if you got those guys. Detroit, Minnesota, you're going to start your lines that you've been trusting. Minnesota, I don't think I'm not going to mess with anybody on Minnesota. I'm not going to mess with anybody on Kansas City, and just start your Broncos, Bo Nix, Harvey, Sutton, maybe Franklin. So that's kind of the prep for Thursday. But I do plan on, I'll be back on Friday. So we're going to do a Friday live stream to kind of get everything caught up. So I hope you guys have just have a good Christmas, guys. Try not to do too much thinking on football. It is the fantasy championship week, but you got to be calm, got to be cool. Enjoy Christmas holidays, enjoy the games, and hopefully you guys get what you need or what you don't need, whatever you're going up against on Christmas Day. And again, you guys can always reach me on Twitter at the fellow KGB, and I'll respond there, or just comment on this YouTube video and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. But that's it. Merry Christmas, guys. We'll see you on the other side sometime on Friday. I'll get that scheduled there for you. But again, I appreciate you guys. This is a crazy week for me. It's the last week of fantasy football regular content. So I'm looking forward to a break, honestly. It's been a long season, but we're just at the finish line. So good luck, guys. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We'll see you Friday. Peace.